subscribe to the channel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah! And we are live, baby! We are live, ladies and gentlemen! How the fuck are we? Woo! I'm getting used to that grand entrance. I really am enjoying that. I'm still working on a few things with the entrance. I might even get a curtain hanged up or something. I don't know. But welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Rugby League Q&A, episode number 19. Let me just move this chair a tad forward. Hope you guys are all doing well on this Monday night, November 28th, 2022. It is 8:32 p.m. and I hope everybody in the live chat is doing extremely, extremely well. It's pretty warm. It's a very warm day. I think it was about 35 degrees here today, so nice and warm. But we're live, we're back, and we're here, and we're ready to answer some questions from the live chat. And we've got a bit of a crowd building up here as we speak. So I want to thank everybody once again for tuning into the YouTube channel. I really appreciate everyone that's taking the time out of their day or night to tune into the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. Like, for someone to just tune into the channel, extremely grateful for that and always will be. We've got a bit of a crowd building up. I can see the live chat. It's looking very good. Shout out to Warriors NRL Fanatics as well. He's heading over to Thailand, I believe, on a holiday. So, safe trips, Warriors NRL Fanatics. I'm looking forward to working with you again next year on the channel. And it's going to be a big year next year. I'm telling you, 2023 is going to be absolutely massive. If you think this channel has been good now, you ain't seen nothing yet. You wait to 2023. It's going to be the year of Nick from Australia. So stay tuned for that. All right. We're going to go to the live chat now, and we're going to get some questions up on the screen for you guys. We're going to answer some questions. We'll be live for a little while time. Maybe we'll go for a 20-minute stream, 25 minutes or whatever. We'll see what kind of questions we get here first. So let's just get the questions out of the way, and let's go with the first one with Josh Rabbitohs 2022. Thoughts on George Burgess' career. So, look, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but on Instagram, I think it was last night, former Rabbitohs prop George Burgess announced his retirement effective immediately. He had a stint at the St. George of the Warrior Dragons. Clearly didn't work out. George Burgess and Anthony Griffin didn't get on that well at all. I think George Burgess will always be remembered as a South Sydney Rabbitoh. He had a fantastic career at the Rabbitohs. He won a premiership in 2014 with Sam Burgess and Tom Burgess as well. So look, I think George Burgess has been one of those props where he's always done a job for the team. He's always gave his 110%. He's always ripped in and had a go. So I don't really have anything negative to say about George Burgess. I know his career has been a bit up and down the last couple of years, but you look back on it as, you know, overall, he's had a very, very solid career. So shout out to George Burgess. Very, very good career. One of the great modern day props of the NRL era, the last 10, 15 years or so. So shout out to George Burgess. What have we got here? A few questions coming in now. We'll get some more in the live chat. Cody Games PlayStation says, Nick, you should get a Cowboys carpet for your entrance for every video. Well, it's definitely not impossible, and it's definitely something that I can work with on the channel. So, yeah, we'll see. So, CJ Moxley, he's talking about Magic Round next year. Nick, are we still going to the tax on the 4 Eels and Titans at Magic Round? Yes, so fucking the Magic Round fixture on the Sunday. I think it's Tigers and Dragons. I think it's the early game. Then it's Roosters and Cowboys at 4 o'clock, the big one there. I think Titans Eels is the last game. I mean, who books this stuff? Titans and Eels. You know what I might do? I might walk out. I reckon Parramatta will be up 18-0 or something. I might go to the Caxton and enjoy a beer. So we'll see. But fucking Titans Eels, Jesus Christ. Parramatta at 50. All right, let's get to some more questions here. What do we got here? Faraz, agree or disagree? Milford's downfall is the saddest in rugby league history. No, I don't think so. He definitely has fallen off a cliff, Milford, and it is a shame. Anthony Milford's been one of those players where if he's on, he's one of the best halves in the comp when he's on. When Milford's at his best, it's on the back of confidence. It's on the back of playing on the back of a very good forward pack. And look, I know Newcastle in 2022 didn't have a great year. They had a dog shit season. Milford had some good moments at Newcastle, but obviously just wasn't consistent enough. Came in there very late, and things didn't work out at Newey. We'll see how he goes at the Dolphins under Wayne again. Ark is here. Hello, Ark. I haven't seen you for a while, my friend, but I hope you're doing well. Hello, Nick. Who do you think could be a team that finished in the top 8 this year that drops out next year, and a team in the bottom 8 this year that could make finals? Yeah, so we spoke about this the other night on the Nick from Australia or the regular YouTubers 2022 celebration, and I said Bulldogs are in, and I said Raiders are out. Now, I think out of all the teams that played finals in 2022, I think the Raiders are the most likely to drop out. I know people are going to say Parramatta could fall off a little bit now with the players that they've lost, like Reid Marnie and Isaiah Papali'i. But I've got to say Canberra are probably the team that falls out. I don't think Canberra. I don't think they're a consistent top 8 force. I think they're a team where they'll have a good couple of years and then they'll fall off a cliff and then they'll come back again a year or two later. I don't believe Canberra will make the finals next season. I think they will fall off a little bit. There's a few teams next year that could be in the top 8. You've got the Bulldogs, the Broncos, the Seagulls. Any one of them 3 could easily sneak in there. Canberra could fall out. Parramatta could fall out, potentially. I don't know who else would fall out. I mean, I think Penrith is safe next year. I think Roosters will be there again. Storm will be back in the top 4, I would assume. Cowboys and Sharks are only going to get better with their young players and their experience. Souths, you'd think, would be there again. Souths are a team that could drop off a little bit. But with the likes of Latrell Mitchell and Cody Walker and Cam Murray, you wouldn't pick Souths to fall off. So, look, I think... And the washing machine is going through the roof. That is fucking loud. Anyway, we'll continue with the show. I don't know why the dryer, I think it is going crazy like it is. I think Canberra are most likely to fall out of the top 8. They can't be trusted. They can't be trusted. Just 1 second, guys. I would go check that, but I'm going to get Josh to come and have a look at that. That doesn't sound good at all. Okay. Anyway, we'll continue with the show. Yeah, look, I think Canberra will fall off a cliff next year. I don't think they make the top 8 at all, to be honest. All right, what do we got here? Fucking Warriors NRL Fanatics has got a good question. Who do you see as the spine for the Warriors? Now, the New Zealand Warriors next year, they've got options. And this is something that the Warriors haven't had for a while. The New Zealand Warriors actually have options and they have things in place that can work in their favour. So, if I was the coach of the New Zealand Warriors, what I will do with the spine next year, I would go fullback, Chance Nickel-Klokstad. Center in the halves, I'd go with Tamari Martin and Sean Johnson. Wade Egan at hooker. And on the bench, you've got Metcalf, you've got Volkman. I think Metcalf could be a really good 14. Apparently, he's a 5'8/fullback. Now, he could be valuable for the Warriors. If the Warriors wanted to do this, they could go Metcalf at fullback and Chance in the centres. Or you could go Tamari Martin at fullback, Chance in the centres, and Tamari Martin at 5'8" with Johnson at halfback, and maybe Volkman on the bench potentially. I think the New Zealand Warriors next year have got plenty of options. I think Chance is their fullback because with the Warriors and with the way teams play nowadays, you don't want to have too many. You don't want to have too many halves on the field at the same time. You don't want to have too many ball-playing spine players. Like you've got your halves and you got your fullback, but you don't want to have. You don't want to do too much. So with the Warriors, like if you go Tamari Martin at fullback, and then you go someone like Volkman and Johnson in the halves, that could kill the flow of the attack. It really could. See, I think if you got a fullback like Chance who can run, not necessarily a great passing game, but if you have him at fullback, he can do his game. He can play his type of game at fullback. And then you've got someone like Martin who likes to play on the cuff. He can play on the advantage line and take him on. Sean Johnson's a running player, but he can also be a really good game manager. But Sean Johnson, with the age that he's at, and where Sean Johnson's at in his career right now, you don't expect Sean Johnson to run the ball a whole lot, maybe 2 or 3 times a game. Let him be the organising conductor at halfback. Run the ball when he needs to, when he sees space, but let Tamari Martin do that. Let Chance Nickel-Klokstad do that. Wade Egan's got dummy half. Wade Egan's passing game from dummy half last year, I thought was fantastic. If he can just keep improving as a hooker in this game, I think the Warriors improve a lot next year. I think they go up a little bit. I don't know if they finish top 8 or they finish 10th or 11th, but the Warriors, for mine, they're definitely better than a bottom 4 team next year. You've got Dylan Walker coming in there. He can play center, fullback, 5'8", hooker, and lock. Dylan Walker is the perfect utility for him. You got Mitchell Barnett. Plenty of experience. I think Mitch Barnett's a better second row than he is a lock. I think Barnett on one edge and maybe Tohu Harris on the other could work out well. Tavaga will probably play lock. They need another prop, I think. I don't know what they're going to do. I wish I would use Ben Murdoch-Masila in the second row properly instead of putting him in the front row. But the spine next year, I think it's Chance Nickel-Klokstad, Tamari Martin, Sean Johnson, and Wade Egan. And you can have Walker on the bench or something, and Metcalf could be 18th man or whatever. But the New Zealand Warriors finally actually have a few options up their sleeve that will work in their favour. All right, what do we got here? Who do you see improving next season? I think the Bulldogs are going to be massive improvers next year. I think the Broncos are going to have a good year. I don't know if they're making top 8, but they're going to be very close to the top 8, I reckon, next year, the Broncos. They have to be. They can't be in the top 4 up until round 19 and fall off a cliff again. Lightning can't strike twice, surely. I think the Warriors improve a little bit. Newcastle, potentially, if they can avoid injury. Newcastle have had a horrible, horrible run of injuries. If they can stay injury-free, they could probably get as high as 10th if they're good enough. I don't know. Plenty of teams that can improve next year. All right, what do we got here? Alex Jones. When is Driving with NFA coming back? The plan for that is this week. I didn't do it last week. Obviously, I just moved house and whatever, and it's been crazy busy. As you can tell, the videos at the moment have been every 2 days. I haven't been able to do a video every day. So the plan is this weekend at some point. I'll let you guys know. It could be tomorrow night. It could be on the weekend. Hopefully, the plan is this week at some point. All right, what do we got? Shitload of questions here now. Holy cunt. Faraz, should NRL move Magic Round to New Zealand for a year? was talking to Paddy G about this a couple of weeks ago, and I don't see why they can't have 2 Magic Rounds in 1 year. Have one whole weekend in New Zealand, have that one later in the year. Like obviously, you keep the Magic Round 1 in May. You're at around that round 10 to round 13 period before Origin. Then have another one late in the year, like maybe the third last round of the season, like say round 23 or something. Have a Magic Round in New Zealand. I don't see why not. Like, why the hell not? Magic Round in New Zealand would actually be something everyone would get. Everyone would get around it. All right, what do we got here? Kane Nicholson. He's a big Tigers fan. What do you think about the West Tigers squad? Well, it's definitely improved a little bit compared to last year. The Tigers in 2022 were abysmal and they were atrocious. They had a horrible season, as everyone knows. I think the addition of David Clemmo is a good one. I think he is a quality prop. He's got a lot of experience. He'll bring a lot of good leadership qualities about him to the Tigers. I think the signing of Isaiah Papali'i is a good one. They've gone out and bought a strike second rower, and they've got a very good hooker in Api Coruscant coming in there as well. The only problem with Isaiah Papali'i going to the West Tigers is his form could drop. Now, at the Eels, he was playing next to an extremely incredible halfback in Mitchell Moses, and now he's going to be playing with someone like Luke Brooks. Now, Mitchell Moses is probably about here, around that 7, 8 out of 10 halfback. Luke Brooks is down here to about a 4 or 5 at best. So, Isaiah Papali'i's definitely got a downgrade on his halves. I mean, you go from Dylan Brown and Mitchell Moses, who probably a top 3 halves pairing last year because obviously they made the grand final, and you're going, it's a hard one for the Tigers because Isaiah Papali'i is going from a premiership losing side to the worst premiership losing halves. So you've got the 2 halves, the second best halves in the comp, Brown and Moses, up against the worst halves in the comp in Dewey and Brooks. So it's a massive downgrade, and I don't know how he will go. I think their squad still needs improvement. They've got so many young players, the Tigers, and they're not great young players. Some of them are decent, and some of them come on the team really well, like Stefano, like we've seen. The likes of Thomas McKaylee, who won that go to the Super League. And look, they've got some good players. Alex 12 will do a job for them, but overall, I think it's a pretty mediocre squad. And in my opinion, if the Tigers finish higher than 16th like next year, it'd be a pass. 17th is the wooden spoon. If they finish higher than bottom 2, it'd be a pass mark. I think it's a pretty average squad. What do we got here? What do we got? So many questions. Fucking hell. I'm trying to catch up the live chat here. All right. Hang on. All right, here we go. Here's a question. Thoughts on the bottom 4 of Titans, Dragons, Warriors, Seagulls. So for Electrical Dust, I think you're saying that's your bottom 4 for next season. The Titans I can agree with. I don't think Foran and Verrills make them any better. I mean, Foran's injury history is pretty shit. And if Kieran Foran lasts the first 10 rounds next year, I'll be very surprised. Verrills, good addition, but you join the Titans, you're joining a shit team. Titans, I agree with. Warriors, I see improvement from the Warriors. Manly definitely be better than bottom 4. If Toms plays half the year, Manly probably be around the top 8 somewhere. As for the Dragons, they're a weird one to get a read on the Dragons. If the Dragons all stay healthy, they'll probably be around what they were this year. They'll probably win 12 games and lose 12 games, and I don't know. The Dragons are a weird one to really get a read on. They're such a plain team, the Dragons. But when they're on, they're good to watch. But they've got a few issues with the coach and stuff. So very interesting to see how they go next year. What do we got here? Oh, Faraz. Is Hastings being released the worst call in West Tigers history recently? Let me just say this. The West Tigers letting go of Jackson Hastings might be one of the dumbest fucking decisions I've ever seen from a club. So the Tigers, right? They go so hard for Jackson Hastings. He's over at Salford. He's over at Wigan. He's killing it in the UK. He's having a fantastic time in the UK, right? And the West Tigers go, all right, we're going to throw money at Hastings. I mean, he's going to be our halfback going forward. They bring him over here. His first game's against Melbourne. Has a whatever game. I think he plays the game against Newcastle. I think he does that dangerous tackle. He got suspended for 3 weeks or whatever. He comes back, has that massive field goal game against Parramatta on Easter Monday, wins in the game. And we're all like, righto, the Tigers have got their halfback. Hastings is their man. And the whole thing with Madge become out of control, like started losing heaps of games and whatever. And they sack Madge. And then they bring in an interim coach in Brett Camorley. Camorley I felt sorry for. And then they move him to lock. Hastings is not a lock. He's never played lock in his life. He played a bit of hooker at the Roosters in his early days. He played a little bit of hooker in his juniors. But he's not a lock. He's a fucking halfback. Jackson Hastings is a top 10 halfback in this competition. Yet you play him at fucking hook. You play him at lock. And they let him go to Newcastle. Newcastle are laughing. If Newcastle get it right with Ponga, Hastings and Brayley, if they all gel and Newcastle avoid injury next year and the Saifidi brothers get going, Bradman Best stays fit, Dominic Young has a fantastic year like he did in the World Cup. You got the likes of Brodie Jones, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, Tyson Frizzell, all playing great footy. Newcastle next year might actually go fucking pretty good. And the West Tigers are going to be like, oh, we're shit again. The Tigers, and yet the Tigers still make the decision to keep Luke Brooks. Luke Brooks is the cancer of the West Tigers. And that is a common fact. Luke Brooks is the longest halfback in the competition that has never played finals football. And you know what's going to happen? Luke Brooks will never play finals football because he's a failure. His career is a joke. It's an embarrassment. And the West Tigers as an NRL club are one of the biggest embarrassments I've ever seen. Between them and the Gold Coast Titans, I'm trying to work out who's worse. The West Tigers make the Gold Coast Titans look smart. The only thing the Gold Coast have on the West Tigers at the moment is that their stadium at Seabus is fucking beautiful. Besides that, it's fucking garbage. God, West Tigers, what are you doing? They're never going to be good. They're never going to be good. They're just shit. Paddy G. Dragons will get the spoon. Early tip. Oh, stop it. Stop it. You mean to tell me a team with Ben Hunt in it, a team with Zach Lomax, Moses Sully, Jack Bird, Jack DeBellin, they're not going to get the wooden spoon. Jaden Sewer, they've got so much quality and experience in that squad, they can't get the wooden spoon. They haven't got the wooden spoon for a very long time, the Dragons, and I'd actually be surprised if I got the wooden spoon next year. The lowest I see the Dragons finishing next year is probably 15th. There's just no way. There's no way they come last. No way. No fucking way. Oh, Paddy G. Another great question. Who is the best looking rugby league YouTuber besides yourself? Well, I appreciate the compliment, my friend. And it does mean a lot. The best looking rugby league YouTuber besides me, well, there's a few of them out there that they look pretty good on YouTube and they look good in themselves. Rugby league history, I think he's one of them. He's a very good looking YouTuber. Z-Tank 99 is a good one. Entertain Us is a good one. Hainsey, there's so many. I can name them all night. But bugger me. Alex Jones. I know this is not NRL related. Have you watched the Soccer FIFA World Cup? Yes, I have. I watched the Saudi Arabia upset the other week, which was fantastic. I enjoyed that. I watched the upset last night there, Costa Rica. I picked Costa Rica to win. I was watching the game. And I thought to myself, Japan are playing like shit. They're playing really shit, Japan. Anyway, I called up on Ladbrokes. I went, right, I'm going to put $10 on Costa Rica to win 1-0. I was paying $13. I called up, put 10 on them. And they got that flukish goal, and I'm like, yes. I just had to hold on, and they did. So I was very pleased to see Costa Rica knock off Japan. I was actually quite surprised about that. What's this question here for us? Who do you cheer for in the FIFA World Cup? Well, obviously, I'll be back in Australia and England in the World Cup, but who I picked to win the whole tournament, I actually had I had Brazil winning the entire thing. I can't remember who I had them playing against. I had a Brazil versus Portugal final with Brazil to win it. I'm pretty sure that's what I predicted at the start of the whole tournament. So we'll see how that goes. It's not far away, I'll tell you that much. What have we got here? Some more questions coming through. There's a shitload of them coming through now. Here's a question. What's your name there? Gargoyle. The new rules on 6 against suck. Momentum is too important. Now, thank you. Okay, well, thanks for the question. The 6 again rule, look, it's one that I'm over it. I'm over the 6 again rule. It's overused. It's overkill. And I'm hoping that the NRL next year can find some consistency with the 6 again rule. The other rule that I wanted to look at, there needs to be a forward pass. There needs to be a forward pass fucking video referee rule, because you go back to that preliminary final between the Cowboys and the Eels. The Cowboys lose the game by 4 points, and the deciding factor was the Mitchell Moses 500-meter forward pass, which ended up being the deciding factor on the scoreboard. So, look, I know Sam Rebel's been a very big advocate in this for quite some time, but forward pass technology, I've always been against it. I think it needs to be trialed anyway, because we saw what happened in that prelim final, man. That Mitchell Moses 500-meter forward pass, it ended up deciding the game. So maybe they can implant that somehow, but they need to sort that out. The Cowboys were fucking robbed in that game, and we should have been in the grand final. And I will never let it go. And no one can tell me otherwise. I will never let it go. One of the biggest robberies I've ever seen. It was a disgrace. Nighthawk Gaming has a question. Love the setup, Nick. My question, what's your thoughts on the Cody Ramsey illness? Oh, yes. He can potentially be forced to retire. Look, I just want to say I hope Cody Ramsey is doing okay. I've heard all about it. I read it all this afternoon, and I think the whole situation it's so sad to see. And look, if Cody Ramsey has to retire, that just leaves a massive hole in the Dragons' fullback situation. I guess they could give Tyrell Sloan another chance, which I think he deserves another chance because he's a great young kid and he deserves another opportunity. But health over footy, and that's pretty much how it works. But that whole Cody Ramsey thing, man, it is so sad. All right, one more question for us, Nick. Favorite Cowboys win in 2022? I'd have to go with the one against the Sharks in Sydney in the qualifying final, where I was there and we all saw the reaction, how I went mental in the vlog. So Sharks versus Cowboys at Shark Park. As for the regular season, though, probably the Broncos-Cowboys game at Suncorp. I was there. It was a Sunday afternoon. It was like round 3. It's a pretty warm day. That was awesome. Putting the score on the Broncos at Suncorp, nothing better than that. Nothing better than that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up the Nick from Australia Rugby League Q&A, episode number 19. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's live stream. If you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, fellas, have a fantastic night, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, have a fantastic night. Subscribe to the channel. 5